YouTube has continued to attack alternative media by demonetizing most of our videos. If you'd like to support the channel, please visit our Amazon store or our Patreon page. Links below. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel, and you know, I talk about a lot of negativity here. I do. I cover a fair amount of tragedy and horrible things from around the world, and sometimes it's good to stop and cover something that has a happy ending, a good, happy, feel-good story. And that's what this one is to me, at least. So this story here, about a woman who raised $250,000 for a homeless man who helped her when she ran out of gas, I think is just the kind of story that a lot of us need right now. It's the holidays. It's the most depressing time of year for a lot of people for a number of reasons. And it's always good to realize that sometimes humans are just bros, and they're not out to try to kill you or harm you or take away your stuff. So it says here that a New Jersey woman has raised more than $250,000 for a homeless man who helped her when she ran out of gas on the highway last month. And if you've ever been in a situation like that, having someone come to your aid is always wonderful. You know, it's not always going to be like gas, but it's a ride somewhere, someone, you know, jump starting your car, you know, helping push you to the next stop if you need it, you know, those kind of things. Like humans, oftentimes in these situations, I feel are usually at their most broiness, to be fair, is when, you know, they're in an immediate position to help. It's a lot easier to get someone to help you versus, like, you know, asking them a month out, right? We all have friends like that. Like, oh, hey, can you help me move in a month? Oh, yeah, a month. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know what my schedule is yet. It's like, just say no if you don't want to help. It says here, Kate McClure, 27 years old, was driving into Philadelphia in October when she ran out of gas around 11 p.m. on Interstate 95. She says that her heart was beating out of her chest. She says a man named Johnny came up to her car, told her to lock her doors, and spent his last $20 to buy her gas. Johnny didn't ask me for $1, and I couldn't repay him at that moment because I didn't have any cash. She actually works for the New Jersey Department of Transportation. Now, she's been dropping by his spot on Interstate to repay him for the gas and provide him with warm clothes and food ever since that act of kindness. But on November 10th, her and her boyfriend, Mark D'Amico, began a GoFundMe campaign with the funding goal of $10,000 to help her rescuer find an apartment, a car, and 4 to 6 months of expenses. Saying here he is very interested in finding a job, and I believe with a place to be able to clean up every night and get a good night's rest, his life can get back to being normal. And that is one of those things that you never really think of when you're driving home and you see someone on the side of the interstate or the side or at an on-ramp or an off-ramp, you know, and they've got the sign out there saying, like, need help. You see them all the time, and it's easy to dismiss them. It really is. It's because we all have places to go. We all have things to do. We have our life to lead. And you see it a lot. Whereas, you know, you help one person on one corner, the next corner, there's 2, 3 more. You know, you're only able to do so much, so to speak. And that's when you kind of, I don't want to say become cynical over it, but you definitely get to a point of where you just stop seeing them as people and kind of start seeing them as, like, you know, road decorations, so to speak. Something you don't make eye contact with because you don't want to. You don't want to be put in the position to where you're guilted to give them something you don't have, maybe. Or you're in a position where you have to tell somebody no. And a lot of us out there are good people, good-hearted people that don't want to tell people no, but don't always have the means to help. Like I said, it's easier when it's in that immediate moment of someone in need versus like the act of like going up to somebody and help. It's a weird thing. It's a weird moment how that's different from like someone as a panhandler versus someone coming up to you and helping out. And again, in this particular case, the roles were absolutely reversed. So that's one of the reasons why it probably came as a shock to many people. Now, she says here, this is her story on Facebook or on her Twitter page, saying the story went viral and ran in a local paper. As of Friday, the fund was nearly at $300,000, according to the Philadelphia Inquirer. McClure has learned that her midnight savior was Johnny Bobbitt Jr., 34, who was a former ammunition technician in the Marines. Hopefully not that John Bobbitt. Now, if you remember John Bobbitt from the 90s, you know what happened to John. He got a bit of a clip. And they found his body part in a field. And then he, of course, went on to go do adult films like Frankenweenie. Or Franken something or another. Not Frankenweenie, but Frankencock, I think. I forget. It doesn't matter. But this again also goes to show you the plight of many of our servicemen and women who have trouble maintaining employment once they get out of the military, and they find themselves, you know, veterans of serving our country, and they're stuck in these situations, you know. And so he posted, or he said in a video, that this changes my life right here, when the GoFundMe had raised $1,700. So now it's at $300,000. That is insane. That's just, it's insane that kind of kindness would go a long way. Now, if it was me running this thing, what I would do is I would take the money, subtract out the what you would need, the percentage you would need for taxes, because that is something people don't take into account with these GoFundMes and whatever. I recently ran one for my cat to raise $6,000 to pay for surgery. A fair amount of that, 25% of that, had to go to taxes. So, you know, that's a cost I actually am eating. But again, people's generosity was fantastic, so I'm not even complaining at all. The whole point there is that you'd have to, you know, take that into consideration. Then what I would do is I would find other local homeless people and then help them, you know, by maybe making a fund and getting them all to a point of where they can be self-sufficient for a few months to get themselves back on their feet. And that might actually be a better way of handling the homeless situation versus not. You know, when you're on the street, you see someone, you give them a couple dollars, they spend it how they see fit. When you help out a program that's meant to find clothing and find food for the homeless, it can help out that way. In fact, in Portland, they have anti-panhandling signs that say, no, don't give it to them, give it to us to give to them. It's a very weird thing. But I don't know. If I were this woman here, Kate, she might be in a position to where she could start a program to help get homeless people off the street, get them set up with a fund, help them get cleaned up, and help them find work. Because again, that's the whole issue. I feel like a lot of these programs, and I'm not speaking from a place of knowledge on a lot of these programs, but I feel like it's a short-term fix to a long-term problem. You know, here's some clothes, here's some food, here's some pocket change. Go make yourself better, when really it's just one piece of a much larger issue overall, where people have to try to get themselves back on track. And I've been in that position where, you know, I was broke, I was on unemployment, I was on food stamps, I, you know, couldn't afford my rent in LA anymore. I had to move back home. Thankfully, I had a home to move back to. I don't know what I would have done otherwise, and that's one of the things that kind of prompted me to push YouTube. So it's, you know, you can get to those points where you just need a little bit of help to get back on your feet. And here it is, 5 years later, I'm a homeowner. I'm about ready to start raising a family. You know, things can change. And that's why I want to talk about this story, is I, for one, find it to be awesome. She is an awesome humanitarian, a good Samaritan at a time when people need it. And, you know, while we don't always do the best that we can when it comes to dealing with people directly, the thing is with people on the street that are asking for money, that are panhandling, is they might look dirty, they might look unclean, unkept, malnourished, whatever else they might look like. But they're people, and that's sometimes the hardest thing in the world to remember, is that they are, in fact, just people. And sometimes they're going to be bros to you, and you're going to be bros to them, but we should all be in this together. And this story definitely reaffirms my faith of that. Anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Hey guys, that wraps up this video. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do so below. I love to read your guys' input. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. If you want to support the channel, there's the Amazon affiliate store, there's PayPal, there's Patreon, there's Bitcoin. And if you're bored and you want something else to watch, check out 3 Buck Theater up here. My name is Matt Jarbo. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a wonderful day. Peace out.